What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to the Justin Diedrich channel. Today, I'm bringing you guys my final mock draft of the 2024 draft cycle. It's sad, it's coming to an end, but we're here with the final mock draft. I'm on a new program, as you can tell, because PFF does not let me do trades, and for this final one, I wanted to do trades for you guys, my full predictions. We're bringing out all the stops. So I'm on Pro Football Network. Unfortunately, I can't stop these ads. So I do apologize. I won't be able to stop ads on the program. Just ignore them. Focus on the draft. We'll get started here with the number one overall pick, Caleb Williams. We've known this for a very long time. It's going to be Caleb Williams as the number one overall pick. There's no other way around it. There's nothing else you can do here. Williams will be the number one pick. So the draft really starts at number 2. And where do I think the Washington Commanders will go? They could stick with Drake May. They could go with Daniels. They could even reach up for McCarthy here, but I am going to go Jayden Daniels. At the end of the day, I believe Daniels will be taken number 2. Washington has spoken really highly of them. A lot of reports just say that Daniels has been penciled in as the number 2 overall pick. He had a really good year at LSU, that like combination of the elite athleticism. He's really fast, a good frame, needs to learn how to slide. The arm is there, works really well outside the numbers. The deep ball accuracy was off the charts this past season. And he also the only thing with Daniels is he struggles over the middle of the field. He'll miss reads. He'll be late. He can work on that in that Washington system. They give him good receivers like Jahan Dotson, like Terry McLaurin, and he'll be able to develop there. And that leaves the New England Patriots at pick number 3. And they have options. If they don't want to go the quarterback route, they could take Marv. They could take Neighbors. They could trade if someone's trying to move up, like the Giants or the Vikings. Or they could stick and take a quarterback here. Drake May is on the board. J.J. McCarthy's on the board. Now, the Belichick thing to do would have been to trade down. He's no longer the head coach there. They need to go with a new route. They're going to take a quarterback. I'm going to give them J.J. McCarthy. Would I personally take McCarthy over May? No, I wouldn't. Do I think it could happen? Yes, I do. So I'm going to go with McCarthy there. McCarthy's a winner, and he's got a great frame, good athleticism, and a really good arm. But he struggles at the actual quarterback part of quarterbacking. So he's definitely a developmental guy. Probably not a day one starter. He'll sit behind Bailey Zappi for a little while. But I do think the Patriots opt to go quarterback. Whether it is McCarthy or May in this situation, I give them McCarthy. At 4, the Arizona Cardinals have a choice, because teams will be calling to try to trade for Drake May. I do think the Cardinals stick and take Marvin Harrison. He's the best player on the board, maybe the best player in the draft. A lot of people think so. And you have the chance to get an elite, a weapon for, you still have a guy in Kyler Murray you think is your future. You go out there and get him a weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, at 5, the Chargers are also getting calls, and they're going to pick up the phone. The Minnesota Vikings are calling the Los Angeles Chargers. All right? There we go. We can actually make this trade. Now, the compensation isn't going to be 100% accurate. I'll give what I might think it could be. Obviously, they're going to trade 11 and 23 and go for 5. It's not going to be it. They're probably going to end up giving next year's first to move up from 11 to 5 for a quarterback. It's a high price. Probably going to end up giving some late-round compensation and then maybe swapping a few in future years. We'll confirm, propose this trade. It has been accepted. The Minnesota Vikings had moved up to pick number 5 to draft Drake May, their quarterback of the future. May, really, really strong arm, really pro-ready guy. I think he's probably the most pro-ready guy in the class. He does his best work over the middle of the field, unlike Jayden Daniels. Plays on time, makes good reads, has a good frame, athleticism, and the arm is there. Honestly, May doesn't have too many knocks on him, probably pocket presence. He's late to scramble. Sometimes he won't sense pressure, and sometimes the accuracy can be off outside the numbers. But May is just a really, really good player. I think the reason he's fallen down is just kind of draft fatigue, prospect fatigue. People have heard about him for a long time, and he started to fall down. The Giants at 6 here, they are pissed that all their quarterbacks went off the board. Pissed. But they're going to take the second best wide receiver in the draft and go Malik Neighbors. If you aren't able to get those quarterbacks, going wide receiver is probably your best bet for the Giants. Neighbors, an elite deep threat receiver, great speed, good build, really strong hands, goes up there at the catch point and catches the football. It's a really good option for them. At 7, the Tennessee Titans have some options. You could take an elite tight end and Brock Bowers. You could go with Rome Odunze if you wanted to take the wide receiver route. Said I'm going to go Joe Alt. I think this is the most likely landing spot for Alt. Probably the first spot that a team would consider a tackle as well. Alt had a really, really good year at Notre Dame. He's a strong, smart player. I think he can anchor that left side of the offensive line for Tennessee and give Will Levis some protection if they believe that Levis is their guy. You get the Falcons at 8. Now, I've been saying that the Falcons is that first spot for defense, and I still believe this is the first spot that defense would be considered. But do I actually think defense goes here? It's tough. I do. At the end of the day, I do think this is a defensive spot, and I am going to go Dallas Turner. This is the earliest I think defense will go, is at 8. I have said in a hot take, I think it could go as I think the earliest defensive player could last all the way to 12, to be honest. It's really up in the air. But Turner's a really, really good player, really, really fast. He gets around you with speed, high upside athletic edge rusher. Falcons probably just need to go best defensive player available as their strategy. Then you get here with the Bears at 9. This is easy for me. Give me Rome Odunze. You drafted Caleb Williams. You need more weapons. You've already got Cole Kmet, a good tight end. You've got DJ Moore, a really good wide receiver. Get him somebody on the other side, an elite deep threat with a tall 6'3", 6'4" frame. Odunze would be an absolute menace with Williams. Jets at 10, we're going Brock Bowers. This has been an increasingly popular rumor over the past few days. I'm going to buy into it. I've given them, in one of my past videos, in ideal fits. I had Brock Bowers to the Jets. I think this is plausible. He's one of the better tight end prospects we've ever seen, or at least in recent years. Falling to 10 would be kind of a miracle for the Jets to be able to get him. I think this would be they'd run to turn in that draft card as quick as they could. Chargers traded back. They go to 11. Now, what are they going to target at pick 11? They would probably hope that Rome Odunze would be here. He is not. So where's your next best option? Brian Thomas Jr. I think Brian Thomas will end up going earlier than people think. Fans don't seem to like him. Scouts seem to love him, and teams seem to love him. Really, really good speed guy. I believe they're in the 4.3s at the combine. He's 6'4", led the FBS in touchdowns. This dude is really good, and especially with the Chargers losing out on Mike Williams, they no longer have, or Mike Williams has 1 year left on his deal. They no longer have Keenan Allen. Their wide receivers would be Quentin Johnson and Darius Davis. You need a wide receiver. Let's go Brian Thomas. At 12, the Denver Broncos. I think I'm going to go corner, and it's going to be the second defensive player off the board, Quinyon Mitchell. Really, really good press man guy. That's what they did at Toledo, and he was so successful there in Toledo in press man. Tore up the Senior Bowl. Mitchell is really, really, really good. Broncos, there's been rumors about Pat Surtain being traded, but even if not, they need somebody on the other side, and that's going to be Quinyon Mitchell for me. The Raiders at 13. Raiders. I might be bold. I'm not. This is a trade down spot. For me. There's a team in Cincinnati that really needs offensive tackle, and you're going to try to trade up with the Raiders here to jump other teams that also need offensive tackle. It's going to be 18 for 13. You're probably going to end up trading your third round pick. We'll go with a late one, and we'll go with a late swap there. Pros will confirm that. My trade has been rejected. All right, let's try it again. Cincinnati is calling the Las Vegas Raiders. In real life, I do think the Raiders do that. We'll edit it. Well, you're going to have to trade 18. You're going to have to trade 49. 13. We'll swap here with that. Cincinnati will give up some late picks, and we'll swap a next year pick. Propose, confirm. That one was accepted. There we go. Testing me on my draft compensation knowledge. The Bengals at 13 are going to trade up to take Olu Fashanu. Fashanu is my personal offensive tackle. One, he's been sliding down boards recently. Really, 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 really big dude. He's like 6'6", 6'7". Super athletic guy. High upside. The Bengals still need tackle. I know they have Trent Brown. I know they have Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown is really good. Trent Brown, I'm iffy on. Fashanu's better. Saints at 14 have been a really tough spot for me. But this is one of the teams that I think the Bengals jump for offensive tackle because I do think the Saints take tackle, and I'm going to go J.C. Latham. They need somebody to replace Trevor Penning because Penning was not good at tackle. You can kick him inside to guard. With Ryan Ramczyk, he's dealt with injuries. You're not sure how long you're going to have him. He might retire early. There's been talk of that. So you get an offensive tackle in Latham who can play both sides. Really, really strong player. He's probably going to instantly be the strongest guy on the field for whatever team he gets drafted to. Colts at 15, this has been a tough one for me, but this is an easy one today. Terrion Arnold falls right into their lap. Arnold has been CB 1 and 2 kind of in the mix for this entire cycle. He had a really outstanding year at Alabama. He's a physical guy. Teams targeted him a lot because they didn't want to go after Kool-Aid McKinstry, and he stood the test and stood strong. He's worked his way up into this first round. Let's see here. Seahawks at 16. I've given them some interesting picks. In my past mock drafts, I've gone heavy on tackle, guard, guys like Troy Fautanu. I've given them Graham Barton. I'm going to do something weird, and I'm going to go Byron Murphy. Does Seattle necessarily need interior? Kind of. But Murphy's such a good player, and if you can have him here at 16, it's a dream come true. Such a good interior pass rusher. There's really, really high value for an interior guy who can rush the passer as good as Murphy does. He's a lot of juice. I think they would be lucky to get him there at 16. 17. The Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm trying to think of their tackle situation. I think it's okay. I would think about corner here. I would think about like a Nate Wiggins, a Cooper DeJean. I think that is where I'm going to go. I am going to go with Cooper DeJean here. I think this is one of the highest I've had him in my mock drafts. But he's a really, really good safety corner hybrid. I think he can stick on boundary corner in the NFL. A lot of people are just projecting him to go to safety because he's white, but he's really, really athletic, really good on the boundary. I think he offers you that flexibility to play both. That's valuable to a defense. And then we get the Raiders at 18. They traded back, right? What did they trade back to do? They're going to take Michael Penix Jr. This could be way off, and Penix might not be taken in the first. But I think that the Raiders need a quarterback, and I think Penix will go in the first round. It just makes sense. This is a little bit of a bold pick. I'll give you that. But Penix, the deep ball is probably the best I've ever scouted. I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years. He is the best deep ball I've seen. I mean, this dude is a gunslinger of a quarterback. Raiders would like to have him there. At 19 with the Los Angeles Rams, we're going to go with Jared Verse. You lost Aaron Donald to a surprise retirement, and you desperately need pressure on the quarterback. I know Verse isn't the same position. Verse is an edge, and Donald was interior. But still, pressure is pressure. And Verse, pro-ready edge rusher, had really good years at Florida State. High upside guy. I think he's probably the best day one edge rusher from the class. He's ready. Steelers at 20. They're looking at his board, and they're like, who let Talais Fuaga fall to me at 20? This dude is in conversations for tackle one. He had a really good Senior Bowl, really good combine. He is probably the best pure run blocker in this class. He's just a mauler in the run game. And he needs to work on his pass game, but the footwork is good, plays with good leverage, and he's really, really mean in the run game. I like that for the Steelers. At 21, the Dolphins have always been a tough team for me to pick. I just don't really know where to go for them. And so that's why I'm looking at potential trade-up scenarios. And I think I've found one. I think I have found a potential trade-up scenario that I like. Let's see. I'm going to do it. Proposed trade here, the Kansas City Chiefs. Where are the Chiefs? I do not see them. There they are. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to trade with the Miami Dolphins. They're going to jump some teams. Obviously get a 32, 64, and 95. We'll go straight for 21 and a 7th. They're going to confirm this. Yes, they will. The Kansas City Chiefs are trading up to take a wide receiver. They need weapons. and they're trading up for Adonai Mitchell. I do think Mitchell is locked into the first round. He had an incredible combine. This dude is an insane wide receiver. He's kind of been under the radar for like the whole cycle. Absolutely insane combine. I mean, this dude was shattering what people thought, shattering expectations. I think that the Chiefs trading up for Mitchell, honestly, is very likely. I do not think they stick at 32. They jump the Eagles, who maybe could be looking for a wide receiver. But what do the Eagles like to do? They love, and I mean love, to go on the line, both offensive and defensive line. And we're going to do that with Graham Barton on the offensive line. Barton can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. That's like the Eagles' wet dream. They love offensive linemen, and they love offensive line versatility. They lost Jason Kelsey. You could put Graham Barton at center, or you have guys like Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens at guard who you can slide into center, and then put Barton at guard. It just makes too much sense if Barton's here at 22. Now the Chargers at 23. You traded back earlier and took Brian Thomas Jr. Now you're probably going to look at offensive tackle. I do think there are some tackles here that are going to go in the first round. Now, I'm going to go bold because I have seen a lot of talk recently of Patrick Paul going into the first round. Do I believe it? No. I don't. I'm really tempted to do it. I'm going to go Tyler Guyton just because I know Guyton will be a first-round pick, and he's probably the best pure pass blocker in this class, which works for Justin Herbert and the air raid offense that they're going to run with. Well, I'd say the air raid offense are going to run with Harbaugh, but Harbaugh doesn't really have a run game over there, so he can't run his normal offense. So he's going to have to switch it up. I think they're going to be passing more than what he did at Michigan. At 24, the Cowboys, easy. Jackson Powers Johnson. They need a center because Tyler Biadasz went to Washington in free agency. Powers Johnson's the best center in the class. He had a really good year at Oregon, and he's worthy of a first-round pick. That's easy for me. Now the Green Bay Packers at 25. This is going to be another offensive tackle. This draft is just full of offense, man. This is going to be another offensive tackle. This one's going to be Jordan Morgan. Morgan's one of those guys that people project to go inside to guard because of shorter arm length. Him and Troy Fautanu are kind of like in that same boat. But I do believe that Morgan can stick at tackle, and Green Bay needs a tackle. With David Bakhtiari is gone. So what do? You replace him with Jordan Morgan on that left side. Buccaneers. I hate picking for the Buccaneers, but this is easy. Nate Wiggins is on the board. You lost Carlton Davis. You traded him to the Detroit Lions. You need a boundary corner. Wiggins is a raw prospect, but good instinctual cover skills, physical tackler. He's been in the mix for corner one along with Arnold and Mitchell for a long time, and I do think he's going to be a first-round pick. Cardinals at 27. What did you do earlier? You took Marvin Harrison Jr. I've kind of hated picking for the Cardinals. But at this point, you probably go best player available, and I do think that is Laiatu Latu. He's falling down the board for medical reasons. I've said this in almost every one of my mock drafts. He had to medically retire from football at a point, but he came back. He probably has the best pure tape out of every edge rusher in this class. I really like Latu. I do think he's going to slide down into the 20s. He could even slide out of the first round. Teams are not going to like those medical red flags, but he's such a good player. I don't think I can ignore it. I have to go first round. At 28, the Bills. Oh, man. You need wide receiver, man. You desperately need wide receiver. Let's look at your options. Worthy, Coleman, Polk. Probably Worthy and Coleman are your two options here. And I'm going to go Xavier Worthy. I think he's going to work his way up into the late first because he's a good player. I have issues with his hands. He has drop issues, but he broke the combine record for speed, and teams love speed. So he's going to go here. Plus, the Bills just desperately need a weapon for Josh Allen. He has nothing. Lions at 29. I'm going to go Troy Fautanu. I do think Fautanu ends up being a first-round pick. He's got that tackle guard flexibility. He's like the Jordan Morgan I talked about earlier, a guy who they project to go to guard in the NFL, but I think who can stick at tackle. For the Lions, he would probably slide into guard because they need some help on the interior. At 30, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens. This could be a Keon Coleman spot for me. The Ravens always do weird stuff. And I think they're going to continue to do weird stuff. And I'm going to give them a corner. Defense, cornerback. Hello, there we go. And I'm going to go with Ennis Rakestraw. I really like Ennis Rakestraw Jr. I think he has some of the best corner tape in the class. He's stuck around that like 3-4 corner on my personal board. I love the cover skills. This dude has really good ball skills, really good man coverage, needs to work on his zone. But Rakestraw kind of fits that Ravens mold of corner. And the Ravens always normally go just a guy that fits their system well, and a Rakestraw fits their system to a T. San Francisco at 31 is tough for me because normally I'd probably give them like a guy like Fatani or Barden who has that guard tackle flexibility. There isn't somebody like that here. So where do they go? We're going to go best player available and go with Johnny Newton, Johnny Newton. They lost Ark Armstead. You need to replace your interior pass rusher, and Newton is that. He's undersized for an interior pass rusher, but he's got a lot of juice, a lot of juice, a lot of get up. He's tough to guard on that inside because he's undersized. He plays with good pad level. Newton's a really good player, and he slid down boards, but I think the 49ers would be happy to have him. And now you have the Miami Dolphins. They traded down here to 32, and they're going to stick here at 32, and they're going to take some pass rush. I lied, actually. They're not going to go with pass rush. They're going to go... God, I hate picking for the Dolphins. Honestly, I think the Dolphins could be another trade down. Is someone going to want to trade up for a guy that's left on the board? Maybe a Nix, maybe a Mims, maybe a Coleman. Let's see. Who would be in the trade-up department? You know what? No, I'm going to stick and go with Mims for the Dolphins. A tackle is a need for them, and Mims is a really, really good young tackle. So I'm going to go with that. And that is the full mock draft. My final mock draft of the cycle. Kind of wild that it's over. This is sad. This will be going up on Wednesday, so you'll be able to have the full day of Wednesday and the full day of Thursday to be able to watch this. I've been posting videos on the draft for all week, so if you are seeing this before the draft, go back in my channel and check out my other videos about the draft. You can get more and more information. As always, leave a comment down below who you want your team to pick. I'll be reacting to them. As well as follow me on Twitter. I'll be live tweeting the draft, as well as I'll be doing a live show for the draft streaming. I'll be able to tweet that link as well. But yeah, as always, leave a like, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you don't miss my videos. A lot of content coming after the NFL draft, and I will see you all in the next video.